welcome to the 31st of March 2021. This is episode 5 of the news that broke glass. I am Andrew Crammond, and I'm going to start off this with some UK news, which, you know, is good for the UK deathmatch scene. Now, here in the UK, you Americans might think, oh, the coronavirus. Oh, and you Australians might think, ooh, the masks, ooh. I work in a fucking pub, and I'm still not legally allowed to go to work for another 3 fucking weeks. Our pubs and bars aren't open until the 26th of April in Scotland, and we still have to drink out fucking side in the fucking rain and the piss and the drizzle and the sleet. So it's not really our fault that we don't have that much fucking deathmatch news in the UK, but we do have some, finally, for the first time on this. But before I do that, I'm going to use my new No Holds Barred ICW bottle opener with my wee beer koozie, and I have a bottle of Coors Light, which wouldn't be my beer of choice, but it was left here. It's good, it's got like a wee magnet thing, and it works very well, so go and buy them on ICW if you can. You can get them different colours and stuff. Anyway, so before we get into the main big, fat, dirty, disgusting portion of the show, Rise is going to be returning, Rise Underground. UK's fucking maddest wrestling show, and Leeds is going to be returning on the 3rd of July. Eager Studios. There's only going to be like 50 tickets available for these events, because even though the UK is going to be limited, we're not even going to be allowed to drink inside until probably about May. We're not going to be able to drink without a meal until probably about June, and so stuff isn't probably going to return to normal until about July. So we've got that. The first show, the return, we've got on Saturday the 7th of August, we've got Rise Summer Sesh, and then we've also got the Outlaw Cup, which is on September 3rd. These are all in the same place, all in Leeds, 50 tickets available for each event, so it seems at the minute. And Friday the 5th of November we've got the Games of Death 2, which I really want to go for, but it's still advertising 50 tickets per event at the moment. And when it was announced, fucking, like, feels like 4 years ago now, Schlack and Castle Valentine were meant to be coming over. There was Iceman, Caden, Big fucking Joe and stuff. So that's the stuff for Rise. Really looking forward to going to it. But in the UK, we're not as lucky as you amazing, successful American people, you know, with your whole shows outside and things like that all fucking year long. Anyway, the other fucking deathmatch company that we have in the UK is TNT, which is based in Liverpool, and I still have tickets, TNT, for the GCW TNT double header that's meant to be happening, and I emailed them and he said, yeah, those tickets are valid, so whenever the fuck that's happening. Obviously it's not our fault, it's our stupid fucking government's fault and that dirty, disgusting virus's fault, but they've got they're returning in May for Extreme Wrestling Supreme Extreme, which is the 15th of May, so I assume that's going to be pretty much, this is at Hangar 34, most of their stuff's at the same thing. And then their next thing is they've got June, which will be Extreme, so it's TNT Extreme going off big time, which will be that Hangar 34 in Liverpool as well. So that's as much deathmatch wrestling news as I can fit into the UK, because we've got fucking nothing. What can you do? What can you do? You've got to legally be paid by your government to sit in your house and drink beer because you can't go to your work and sell alcohol to people. Fucking hell. You gonna sit down? Right. So, America. Fuck yeah. So, while the WWE crawls like a maggot towards the bloated, festering corpse that is WrestleMania 37, we in the deathmatch community are snorting big fat lines of fucking coke and running as fast as we fucking can to get to the motherfucking collective and the showcase of the fucking independents, because WrestleMania looks like a bag of fucking cat shit, whereas the collective and the showcase of independents looks like a shining beacon at the top of a mountain covered in beer and coke and women. So just so there's a couple of little updates for GCW this time. We don't have too much to talk about. Virgil's going to be at spring break. Good fucking times, money fucking Virgil. And also we have got the main event, I assume, of the Death Planet, or Planet Death. Every time I'll say it the wrong way around. For Planet Death, it is going to be a double glass crush deathmatch CZW thing. Remember, I think the main last one we had was June Kasai against Danny Havoc at Best the Best 2010 maybe? I can't remember. Anyway, that Best the Best, it's going to be a Danny Havoc tribute thing for Rest in Peace Grant. my second favourite deathmatch wrestler of all time, just behind Nick Gage. It's going to be Alex Colon versus Lucky 13, so that'll be fucking fantastic. That's all the GCW news really we've got so far. Next week I'll go over the updates for my picks for the best matches and what stuff I'm looking forward to and things, but that's pretty much the GCW updates for the time being. The ICW No Holds Barred updates, they've got koozies. For NHB 11, we've got Danny DeManto against Brandon fucking Kirk, which will be fucking good. It'll be I mean, there's a lack of violent matches on that show, I think. I mean, there'll be pretty much that and like the main event. We've also got Tony Deppen against Daniel Garcia, which will be good. Daniel Garcia's in the Battle of Tough Guys tournament as well. And we've got Steve Madison, who I don't think I've seen, against Lee Moriarty, who I've seen a few times in GCW. So, I mean, pretty good matches. And we've also got the final first round matches for the Pit Fighter X Battle of the fucking Tough Guys. It'll be the day after on the Friday, which is the Friday's the 10th, I believe. We've got Brett Eisen against Daniel Garcia. Good fucking times. Reed Bentley against John Wayne fucking Murdoch. That'll be fucking violent as fuck. Schlack versus Akira. Calvin Tankman against John Davis. And the final first round match is a rematch from NHB 10, which is Gary J against Justin fucking Kyle. So we've got all the matches ready. We don't know the brackets yet for the two. It's a 2-show tournament thing. But I mean, we've got all the brackets. It'll be fucking good. Probably something most looking forward to Schlack Akira, John Wayne Murdoch versus Bentley, and Gary J against Justin Kyle, because I really enjoyed their match last time. And finally, we've got another little small update for NHB 12, welcome to the Pawn Shop, where we've got Alex Ocean with Riley Madison, and against Brandon Kirk with his lovely wife. They're two of my favourite guys in the company. I'm very, very happy they've got a match against each other, because they were meant to have a match, I think, at Volume 6, and Ocean was injured, so I think Kurt fought somebody else, and I can't remember who it was. Was it maybe? I think it was Dom Guarini. I have to double check. I'm almost certain I'm right. And then there's one final match that's going to get announced tonight, so by the time I edit this, it'll probably be in the show, but who knows. And there's also going to be, obviously with the koozies and everything, because I'm a dirty mark, for ICW No Holds Barred, there is a new showcase of the Independence ICW t-shirt, which has got showcase, and then it's got the three, I'll show up in the thing, it's got the 3 different show names of the companies, so that's pretty much our collective and ICW portion of Showcase of the Independence updates. And there has been another show announced for the Showcase. The cats went fucking mental there, you know when the cats get the zoomies and they run about like fuck? Mental, aren't they? We've got Tony Deppen is presenting Bier Haus, which I assume Tony Deppen's got his own like beer company in Philadelphia. I can't remember the name of it. I'll put it up. Which is in the afternoon on April 10th at 12 PM on IWTV. So I'll definitely be watching that. 2 matches announced so far for it. Go on, run about, Nelly. Go on. 2 matches announced for that. We've got fucking Tank, IWA Mid-South, Deep South legend Tank is going to be fighting one called Manders, so that'll be fucking good. And Myron Reed, who I've seen quite a lot of times actually in GCW, who I quite like. He's a guy that sort of wears like sort of bulletproof vest thing, is against Matt Vertigo. Cat's going Raj, which in Scottish terms for you American people means mad. Matt Vertigo, who I've never heard of, I don't think. Also, Deppen is now in a new stable in ROH, which I do not think of this time has a name. Which is, I'm very, very happy for him because I really like Tony Deppen. He's one of the most underrated sort of non-deathmatchy guys in the indie wrestling that I watch. Charismatic, great fucking heel, the perfect dickhead character, and he's a great wrestler. It's Brody King, Tony Deppen, Homicide, and Chris fucking Dickinson in a new stable in Ring of Honor. I don't watch Ring of Honor, but good for them, good for those guys, especially good for Tony Deppen. Now, on the... Where are we? So this was taped on March 28th, so just a couple of days ago, and this will be shown on April 9th on IWTV as part of the Showcase of Independence at 6 PM, just before the Battle of the Tough Guys. H2O presents Subterranean Violence. Now last week I said that the matches were random and we didn't know what was happening, but now I have all the matches here, and I could get the results, but I don't want to read them because I want to watch it. So I've got the full show here, and all of the matches have been announced, it's already been filmed. So we have got Nolan Edwards against Austin Luke, which I saw a clip of this. They were covered in thumbtacks and chairs and blood in a no rules match. That'll be good. It's not easy being a cat, honestly. We've got a Mind Games match, which is Marcus Mathers, who I've seen a lot more of now. When I saw him at the Trainwreck thing and stuff like that, he's pretty good, against Anthrax. A Devil's Bull Rope match between Drew fucking Blood. Go! Cats are fucking mental. Against Mark Angel, who's the dad of Marcus Mathers, I think, or he's the dad of somebody. No, he's the dad of Declan Grant, actually, I think. This is a no rules match. Chuck Payne against Declan Grant, who's the guy that fought Brandon Kirk at the last show. 3-on-2s, we've got Christian Cross, Gigi Everson and Chris Bradley versus Jeff Cannonball, who's the #1 contender for the Danny Havoc title, and Sean Henderson, so 3-on-2. And then we've got a 4-way weapons match, so it's Lowlife Louie versus Jimmy Chondo. Chondo did a shout out to me on his Facebook thing and this channel because I mentioned he likes MD 2020, so thanks Chondo for that. I was going to try and have some 2020, but I've not been to the fucking shop yet, so maybe for the next one I'll have a little shot or a wee drink of MD 2020 for you. But thank you for shouting out the channel, I appreciate that. Alex Stretch and Frankie Picard. I remember Frankie Picard, I haven't seen him too much because I don't watch too much H2O. I remember him from CCW days, I quite like him. We've got a normal match. Adonis Valino versus Reed Walker. Never heard of either of those two guys. I mean, I've probably seen them there and then, but I've not heard of them. So it was taped on the 28th, as I said, and it'll be shown at 6 PM. Also officially announced for H2O's Misery Business, which is taking place on April 17th, is going to be Jimmy fucking Chondo versus Mickey Knuckles in a Good Housekeeping match, and that'll be bloody and violent and ridiculous. And Chondo was saying that he's going to bleed buckets and make it the most violent bloody match in H2O history. And I just watched the match, I think it was AWR, a company which I'm not too familiar with, where I saw some clips of Akira beating the fuck out of Mickey Knuckles with a water jug. So that'll be interesting. Definitely be interesting. So before I move on, because I always take the notes in the wrong fucking order, we do have No Peace Underground updates. Before I move on into the vast array of other stuff, try and keep it East Coasty, Florida, New Jersey wise to start with. The most important thing, some might say. So we have got Murder Mania updates, which is going to be April 8th on IWA TV at 8 PM, I think. We've got, this is a 5-way match which looks fucking crazy. Shane Mercer versus Neil Diamond Cutter versus Nick Jake Chris versus Gary J versus Lucky fucking 13. A ridiculous 5-way like dream match of just different styles and blood, and it'll be great. We've also got Ace Austin against Jamie Senegal, so that'll be alright. I've not seen too much Jamie Senegal, I think I mentioned that before. I think I've seen like 1 or 2 matches of her, but she's pretty good. And we've got Hallowed, so that is Lord Crew and Otis Cougar against Nolan Edward and Wolf Taylor. Who were the two, I think they're two friends from before. I'm sure they fought recently at one of the No Peace Underground shows where Jordan Oliver came in and was the referee. So that'll be good. And for Shallow Graves, we've got some updates. Wolf Taylor's been announced for that. The End have been announced for that, which is Paro and Odinson. I love Paro. Love Paro, he's a great fucking wrestler. Anyway, so this show's on the April the 10th at 12 AM at the Cuban Club. So this is pretty much the last show for the collective that day, I believe. We've got JJ Garrett's turning up, who I don't recall, but I know the name from somewhere, I'm not too sure why. And we've also got 2 new matches announced. So we've got Mans fucking Warner against Connor Claxton, and we've got Alex fucking Colon against Masada. Fucking hell, that is sick fucking shit. Now, we'll move on to more American stuff in the fucking deep south. Well, not the deep south, but the south. We've got IWA Mid-South updates. Now, I watched their show, which was the Mystery Deathmatch show, and I'll have a little look on my phone for the results because I can't remember all of them off the top of my head because I only can write down so much stuff. So, this was on the 13th of March. I've done a little music video highlight thing of the show. I would say, I won't go through the entire card and go through everything, but I will say there were some really, really good matches on it. JC Rotten against Kevin Giza, who I've never really seen before, was awesome. Kevin Giza fucking bumped his fucking ass off, it was really good. Herzog and Neil Diamond Cutter beat the Young Dragons. I always end up saying fucking Marcus Crane, obviously it's Josh Crane. Look at those people having the same last name. How dare they? You know what I mean? Try to make me with my stupid fucking mind remember it. That was a good match. We also had. I finally saw Bobby Beverly. I saw him at the show before this, but I saw him at this. Amazing Maria beat him in a sort of like mirrors match. They had to throw each other through like 5 mirrors or how many mirrors it was. That was really good. I quite like Bobby Beverly. From what I saw of him, seems pretty good. Insane Lane came back and beats Brad Cash, which is quite a violent match. You could see Insane Lane. I always remember one of my favourite like underrated Tournament of Death matches. I'm sure it was from TOD 7, which was him against Freak Show, and it was the one where I'm sure Freak Show hit him with like a thumbtack guitar or something, and they were like covering his head and in his arms, or Freak Show got his arms beat. I really liked that match, but they were a tag team. I think they were called, what were they called, 6 Feet Under or something like that. Anyway, and main event was Eric Grind defeats Dewey Wellington, this young kid who got destroyed in the first 5 minutes, like elimination. Eric Grind beat him and John Wayne Murdoch. That was probably the best match. It was a good show, mystery deathmatch show, but like I'm saying, it was annoying because of IWA. And which we're going to talk about. They are not releasing anything, they're not streaming anything. And Ian Rotten put up a thing on Facebook, which I'll show you here, where he basically says, I lose money in every double deathmatch tournament I do, and everybody's moaning at me because we don't stream. We're doing it the old-fashioned way, and they're just doing a show on Smart Mark, and they're releasing the video like a week or 2 weeks later. And you're like, well, and everybody's moaning like stream. He's saying he's losing money, but I mean, I don't know how much money it could possibly cost if Smart Mark Video were there anyway to stream it. I mean, they streamed King of the Death last year was on Fight. Maybe he's expecting to get more money than he thinks he is. I don't know. It just seems a bit crazy that in this day and age that they're not streaming like even like any tiny small time companies. Maybe IWA just have no fucking money, which they normally don't have any money. But it seems ridiculous that they're not streaming King of the Death or Double Death or any shows in general. I can maybe understand there's smaller like shows they have every week or so, but like the big shows like the deathmatch tournaments where they'll make all their fucking money, like fucking stream the shit out of them, you know what I mean? Anyway, the final team for the April 3rd double deathmatch tournament is Kevin Giza and Dewey Wellington. The two guys that I mentioned that last show did really well for themselves. They are the underdogs. So they are going to get destroyed. The first match, so we've got all the matches announced for this show now as well. Barbed Wire Madness, it's 440 RSP Beverly against the underdogs. Poor underdogs. It'd be funny if they won. We've got Light Tube Ropes, Bundles and 4 Corners of Pain match up next. Salt, lemon juice, rubbing alcohol and Tabasco sauce. I love the rubbing alcohol pools and stuff they do in IWA. So we've got the Young Dragons, Patricks and Josh Crane versus NDC and Herzog, which is a rematch from the show that just passed. We also have, before I was going to say, yeah, I would highly recommend buying the Mystery Deathmatch show. It's been one of the better non-tournament shows IWA have done in a long time. A lot of talent on the IWA shows. Third match, we've got Taipei Death World Series of Glass match, the Bloody Brothers 2.0, which is JC Rotten and Insane Lane, against John Wayne Murdoch and Satu Jin. See? I got a promo thing now of Satu Jin. I'm still waiting on my fucking t-shirts coming from Deathmatch Worldwide. It's only been 4 weeks. ICW knows barred sending their stuff in like 2 weeks and pay less shipping. So Deathmatch Worldwide's a really good idea, but I'm still waiting 4 weeks because I want to have my Satu Jin t-shirt, and I want to have my No Peace Underground t-shirt to sit and watch the collective and sit and watch the Showcase Independence like a dirty filthy mark with my Mark t-shirts on. But I can't because they're not here yet. So hopefully they'll be here in the next week. Come on, guys. I want to buy more t-shirts from you, but I ain't buying them until the new stuff's fucking here. I want to buy some Neil Diamond Cutter shit, but I ain't doing it until my Satu Jin and my No Peace Underground t-shirts here. Anyway, moving on. We've also got the last final first round match is Fans Bring the Weapons, which is 440, which is Cougar and Ryan, my team to win, are against the Hallowed, Otis Cougar and Lord Crew. So brother versus brother in that one, that'll be fucking good. And the main event, so the way this is written, they've not put any semi-final matches. It might just be an 4 team, like mad main event. It's like a Caribbean spiderweb and 200 light tube deathmatch main event. So if it's 4 teams, that sounds fucking crazy. There might be semi-finals. I have no idea. Moving on to Pro Wrestling Trainwreck. I'll just go over their last show as well, which was the day before that one. So this was on the 12th of April, same arena. The only thing I will say is about this arena that IWA and Trainwreck run. Fair enough, it's a good arena, it's a decent enough size, they seem to have a decent enough, sort of smallish, nice crowd in it. But the building just looks like it's not even fucking finished yet. That big back wall looks like it's not even been painted or anything. It looks just like it's not even like a real building, like they've just kind of broke in and like they're running shows without anybody knowing there, they're just setting up lights in a ring. But anyway, I guess, I don't know, maybe that's meant to be the appeal. So their show was Pro Wrestling's Middle Child, which I also made a little highlights thing for on the channel. That was alright, there was a lot less deathmatchy stuff. There was some good stuff, non-deathmatch stuff. Drew Wellington beat Neil Diamond Cutter, that was a pretty good match. There was a scramble thing with Alice Crowley, who's the only woman in the match I think who won. But there was Cole Radix was in it, who was the guy called Nerd Fifth, who was like this very sort of skinny guy who kept sort of doing like Val Venus like gyrations and stuff. He was really funny and entertaining. That match was pretty good, lots of like high spots and jumps and stuff. Satu Jin beat Herzog in a barbed wire brutality match, and he gave him a sort of choke slam, sort of rock bottom throw thing off the apron through like a barbed wire board with barbed wire set up. That was good. Jake Chris was there. Mance Warner beat Akira in which was one of the better matches, but it was disgusting. Mance Warner gave him some brutal, disgusting chair shots to the head. Like Akira got a horrible, just disgustingly bad chair shot like to the face. That's in the highlights thing. I'm surprised that Akira didn't have a match the next night at IWA, but he had one at Trainwreck. Anyway, and John Wayne Murdoch beat JC Rotten in a House of Horrors. Fans bring the weapon here with the light tubes hanging down. That was good, it was a decent show. I would say the IWA one was better than Trainwreck, but it's because I had more death matches on it, obviously. And this is a deathmatch channel, because we're marks for the death matches. The amount of information you need to have for all these fucking deathmatch shows, there's so much deathmatch stuff. Anyway, Trainwreck's next show on April 2nd. This is the day before the Double Death again. IWA and Trainwreck are just running day after day at the same building, so good for them. Same crowd, a lot of the same wrestlers. Death Race for Blood, which is the name of this show. Already talked about the main event. We've got 4-4 Ryan and Beverly against NDC and John Wayne Murdoch. We've got RSP against the Carver of Cutters, who I've still never seen wrestle. In other matches, we've got Akira versus Gary J, which would be awesome. Really like Gary J. The Office Supplies Death Match, which is Chondo. I think this is his first sort of forte into the sort of deep southy stuff. Well, not deep. I keep calling it deep south. You know, the mid southy Trainwreck things. He is going to be fighting Dale Patrick's. So Office Supplies, I assume that's like staplers, pencils, fucking all sorts of shit. We've got a barbed wire brutality match, which I'm really looking forward to, which is Atticus Kogar against Herzog. That'll be a strange pairing, but it'll be alright. A 4-way choose your weapon death match. Insane Lane versus, wait for it, Satujin versus Otis Cougar versus Alex Stretch, who's the guy from H2O. And then we've also got Austin Luke from H2O versus Aaron Williams. And then we've also got a 3-way match, which is Marcus Mathers, who I'm really enjoying his matches recently, the more I've seen of him, versus Nick King versus Eric Dillinger. Dillinger, there we go. So that is the IWA Deep South and Trainwreck updates. There's so much shows coming up for them after the sort of Mania, well before Mania weekend, and then they'll be doing a lot more stuff after Mania weekend, and then we'll be heading far into June or July for King of the Death matches. And I'll probably be and for the Southern Sickness and there's so much deathmatch stuff every fucking month. It is difficult for one to keep one's head around all of it. Because you think, so I'll do this, and there's always a company you'll end up forgetting about. I try and do as much as I can. Fuck me. Anyway, so we'll move back into California for Crimson Crown Wrestling. We've got new updates for the Supreme Tournament of Extreme Supreme Violence, or whatever the fuck it's called, I forget the name. Chris Cross, who's going to be the Master of Ceremonies and on commentary. Chris Cross was a part of the original XPW, I believe he was on commentary back then. Very long time ago. We've also got entrant number 7 in the tournament, which is Blackheart Fern Owens, who I've never seen before. And entrant number 8 is fucking Schlack. And the first match of the tournament is going to be a best of 5, so winners to do 3. Has put their opponent through 3 light tube log cabins to win. Is Schlack against Sage fucking Sin Supreme. So, you know, that. I think that's probably the first time ever match. I would think. That sounds pretty good. And other small point of news on New Jersey, East Coast Wrestling. On Point Wrestling is apparently coming back. It's meant to be coming back on the 8th of May with Resurgence. They announced it, and then apparently the building they were going to run, they can't run the building now. So they're going to come back and tell us which building they're going to run. But On Point was another thing, very much like H2O, like a sort of smaller New Jersey-based company. I'm almost certain that Nick Gage is still the On Point champion. I think the last championship match was Kit Osborne against Nick Gage. So On Point Wrestling's come back, so another company which had deathmatch hardcore stuff coming back. So good shit. Just onto a small thing for Australia. The land down ye under. Deathmatch Down Under is hosting another show. So this will be on May 21st to May 22nd at the same building that they always run, I assume. Which is called The Juice is Worth the Fucking Squeeze. I don't think it says fucking, I just put that in. They should put that in anyway. I do really want to get that don't fuck with, or we don't want to fuck spiders or whatever the fucking thing it is. So it's a 2-day, 16-person single elimination tournament to crown the first Deathmatch Down Under heavyweight champion. I assume that these matches are going to be death matches or hardcore matches, considering the company is Deathmatch Down Under, but a lot of the matches they have in the shows are not deathmatch based, so who knows? I would like to think that the final would be something very, very violent, so that's something interesting. The belt looks pretty cool. It kind of looks a bit like the old, I say old, the current CZW World Heavyweight title, which is a cool fucking design. If CZW's died in a ditch a very long time ago, you know, the fucking like light tubes down the side and stuff. So the belt looks pretty cool. So that'll be interesting. So we'll have a champion for that company. I really want ICW holds part of a champion. Just because I want there to be a belt, I want there to be an actual thing. Danny Demand says they might not do belts, they'll do something different. Hopefully the winner of the Battle of Tough Guys thing wins something. And then somebody from the chains can have some title, but come on, like I said last time, we're marks. We want belts. We want to take pictures of the wrestlers with the belts. We want to buy replica belts. You know? Honestly. And finally we move on to Japan. And Freedom's hosted their big Corrigan Hall show March 23rd, a couple of days after I did my last video. And Freedom's tag team titles were defended as Rina Yamashita, all those Japanese names are difficult for my stupid Scottish accent to get right, and Minoru Fujita beat the Brahmins. I like the Brahmins, they're the sort of long haired black guys that are all bald at the front there, like it's a comedy tag team. So they're alright, I'm quite happy to see them there. Masayuka and Kenji Fukimoto were in like a lower card tag team match, which is annoying. Like I love both those guys, they're like two of my favourite guys in the company. It's like Kenji Fukimoto's awesome. I really want to get some shirts and stuff of his. I'm annoyed that they're like so low down, but I mean I know there's a lot more other deathmatch guys and storylines and stuff. There's a TLC of Deathmatch where Takeda, Sakura and Violento Jack of Empire Ruler Ends, the new stable. I really want one of their t-shirts, the ERE t-shirts. It's very simple but effective. They beat Kasai, Mammoth Sasaki and Takahashi Sasaki. Mammoth Sasaki's a guy I've not heard of in a very long time, but he's probably been in Freedoms a lot of the time, but I just sort of pay attention to death matches, and it's very, very difficult even in America or the UK to try and find like new, like very, very new Freedom shows. We just kind of get like little clips or main event matches and stuff. So that'll be interesting. Obviously it's Kasai, Takeda and everything. And the main event, a shakedown blockade light tube bridge death match, which is Segura beat Takayuki Yuki. His name's always difficult to say, and apparently, according to Steve and I and the clips I've seen in it, it was one of the most brutal, hard-hitting death matches in a very long time. Lots of cinder block shots and headbutts into cinder blocks and smashing cinder blocks, and it looked fucking disgusting. Segura won, so I assume the rivalry between the Empire Ruler ends, and the baby faces of Freedoms will go on, and hopefully somebody. I would like to see Violento Jack dethrone Segura. I really like Violento Jack. Or Takeda do it again. But yeah, I mean that show looks fucking awesome. I don't think I have a very detailed review of it because I've not seen that much of it. And then we'll go on to Big Japan, where they are still running their Deathmatch Survivor tournament. We're getting far into it now. Not too far into it, mind you. So we got on the 24th of March at the Shinkaba Ring 1, which is where GCW held their shows for their tours in Tokyo. In non-tournament violent match, we had Takeda and Sakamoto, who's the champion, with the Crazy Lovers, and Ishikawa beat Hayodo, Kamitani and Hoshino, and Kankuro Hoshino has done these videos which are up online where it's him sort of practicing like being a deathmatch wrestler, like training for it, and it's just him like jumping off something like this couch and doing a flat back senton bump straight onto cinder blocks on the floor. And then he done another one where he done the same thing but onto cinder blocks, onto like weights, onto like barbell like weights, just straight flat right on his back and screaming his fucking head up before and afterwards. He's fucking mental. He's a former Big Japan Deathmatch heavyweight champion as well. He's insane. Like it's beyond, like it's funny and it's bizarre and it's crazy, and I loved it. So that was a non-tournament match of that show. So the Deathmatch Survivor stuff, we had Block A, which is a Roseline Perfect Fall Deathmatch. Takahashi beat Jackie Numazawa, so Numazawa's like back doing the stuff. I don't think he's going to get very far. In fact, I don't think he's got very far at all. We've got Block B, so that was Block A, that match. Block B, we've got a TLC death match where Drew Parker beat Miyamoto. That'll be really good. Really want to see that. So on the 27th of March, at the... I'm not even going to say where it was in the name, I wrote it down, I'll not be able to pronounce it. It was in Osaka in Japan. We had Block A, I'm not going to go through the whole cards because I just care about the deathmatch stuff in Big Japan. Fair play to all the wrestlers, I like the strong style stuff and all this shit, but I care about death matches. That's what the podcast's for, or the vodcast, or whatever this thing is. News and results and all sorts of shit. There was a Mexican bunkhouse death match. Violento Jack beats Numazawa. Block B, for the other show, we had 4-board death match where Miyamoto beat Katsumata. Yeah, there we go. Katsumata. These names and my handwriting, honestly, it's not easy. And then the next show we had, which is the last one, which was on the 28th of March, a couple of days ago, which was in Ashii at the Diamond Hall. Anyway, these names and halls and places escape me. In non-tournament action, we had a G-Shock death match, which was Katanami and Raijo Ito beat Hayodo and Hoshino. Again, the crazy mental guy who was jumping out of fucking barbells, fucking like just weights and cinder blocks, fucking hell. Didn't even get a push just for doing that. And then we had finally the Deathmatch Survivor matches. So Block B, we had a barefoot death match where Katsumata beat Drew Parker, and I've seen a little clip of this, or a little picture of it, and Drew Parker had a fucking Kenzen stuck in his foot. Crazy motherfucker, crazy motherfucker. And then we had a Block A match, which was a light tubes death match, and Kobayashi beat Jackie Numazawa. So I think the way that the blocks have worked now, I can't really remember how it all works out for all the different things, but so far the way it looks is Violento Jack has won Block A, if that's how it works. He's won the most matches, lost nothing. And then finally, we come to the end of this episode of news and results and updates and all sorts of shit. There was a little new trailer for the Jun Kasai documentary that will be coming out in Japan. Hopefully we get a subtitled version for us wankers in the US and the UK. But I believe with the way it's looking, it's going to be out on the 28th of May. And I think they put I think this might be just a little tagline for the video, it might be the tagline for the actual documentary. It's The Man Who Shines in Blood. That looks fucking awesome, just Jun Kasai going about his daily life and training and matches and with his family and stuff. And apparently there's footage of like Danny Havoc in a match and stuff, I assume when GCW went over to Japan last year in February, so that'll be fucking awesome. Love Jun Kasai. Probably going to get his autobiography as well. And if anybody wants any sort of stuff like that, use Shopping with Ninja with Steve and I. I'm waiting to get further deathmatch stuff from other companies, Deathmatch Worldwide, before I buy more deathmatch stuff. But anyway, that is the news, results and updates for this week in the deathmatch world. And as we say on this channel, no deathmatch, no life. And next week, right before we get to it's only a week away for the fucking collective and the Showcase Independence, I will go through all the matches and shows I'm looking forward to and my sad marquee predictions. And then over the weekend I will do updates and things through the entire weekend, highlights, videos, all sorts of shit. So stay tuned for that, and thanks ever so much for watching. Woo!